Jaya Radha Madhava. So all the information that I'll be presenting tonight is based on the teaching of the Vedic scriptures. The Vedas are the most ancient scriptures. They were written down 5,000 years ago. However, the knowledge itself is eternal. So prior to being written down, it's passed down orally from one perfect master to the next. And such a line of perfect teachers is known as a disciplic succession or parampara. And a parampara is necessary for the truth to descend in its pure form. We are in the parampara known as the Brahma Sampradaya. And we feel very fortunate to receive our knowledge through this lineage. So this is not my opinion. I'm just passing on this eternal science. So I think the topic of the lecture was finding true love. Brought you here. That's good. Yeah, we're all searching for love because intuitively everybody knows if we don't have love, what do we have? Right? Unfortunately, it's rare that anyone does have true love, and that's why we're in such a dire state in life. That's why we're bewildered, we're confused, lonely, empty, distressed, anxiety, on and on. That's the problem. What did the Beatles say? All we need is love, da 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 da. Some of you old enough to remember that, right? Sometimes I speak to a bunch of new people and they never heard it. Like, really? I can understand. Time flies. Yeah, that's all we need, but that's what we don't have, see? So that's the problem. If you don't have the one thing you need, then you're lacking in a big way. Love is the most desirable thing, it's the most sought after thing, it's the most needed thing, and it's the most elusive thing. Even if we think we have it, somehow gets away. Like, I used to have it. Or it changes, right? I used to love you, but I don't anymore. Love doesn't change. See, what changes is not love. If you love, then you love. Love is eternal. Love does not change. See? So all this thing that we call love in the material world is actually not the true thing. It's a charade. It's masquerading as love, but it's not. And that's why it produces the results that love do not produce, like pain, heartbreak, disappointment, anxiety, and all the other dramas that go with the subject, right? So the Vedas actually are the only source that I have found that clearly describe what love really is in such a way that we can understand what we think is love really isn't. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a little involved, so you have to pay attention. You see, this is not romance. This is actual factual information. See, so there's not a lot of hearts and flowers at this point. See, it's actually factual information. So we're going to begin with understanding who we are. See, we are looking for love, yes. But who are we? This is the question. Because we don't know who we are, that's one of the big problems, why we don't know what love is. Actually, the Vedas say, very instructively, we should all ask ourselves the question, who am I? We are the life force in the body. Therefore, our true identity is spirit soul. Spirit meaning we are spiritual in essence. Soul meaning the individual spiritual spark that we eternally are. We never become someone else. And we never cease to exist. Now, for some people, this is very depressing news. What? I'll always be me? Gee, I thought it was going to be over soon. Sorry, it's never over. However, when we learn the truth in life, this becomes very wonderful news. So, once again, we are spirit soul, and we further learn we are a part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. There is a Supreme Soul from which we all come. We are known as the Atma, and the Supreme Soul is the Paramatma. Now, understanding this absolute eternal truth, then we can begin to understand life. We can begin to understand love. See? Without this knowledge, love is simply a mystery. See? But with this knowledge, you can begin to understand what it really is and how to achieve it. Find it? I don't really think that's the right word. Achieve it? Yes, that's the correct word. Mm-hmm. So, now we've established we're spirit soul. One thing we have to understand about ourself, the spirit soul, is that we have certain inherent characteristics. An inherent characteristic means a characteristic that is always present. Like wetness is an inherent characteristic of water. In this cup, I think there's water in there. Looks like it. I haven't touched it, but I know automatically, and so do you, it's wet. All water is wet. Whether it comes from the sky, it comes from the river, it comes from our eyes, it doesn't matter. You can't separate wetness from water. In the same way, you can't separate heat and light from fire. So the soul, we, have many inherent characteristics. One of those characteristics is love. Love is an inherent part of our eternal self. It is always there. It is within all of us. There's no such thing as a person who has no love. Everybody has love. And not only people in human bodies. And every one of you can relate to this. See, we usually only think in terms of humans because we're in human bodies and we think we're the only guys that count. You see? But actually, all life forms are just different bodies that a soul inhabits. Whether it's a plant, a tree, an aquatic, an insect, a reptile, a bird, an animal, it doesn't matter. Different bodies, but inside each one of those bodies is a living entity, a person, a spirit soul, just like you and I. We are in human bodies right now, see. So, where there's life, there's a person, there's a spirit soul. Have you ever noticed in your dog, many of you I'm sure have dogs or a cat, some pet, you see? And if you don't have one, you've been around them enough to know. The dog is looking for love too, right? It's not just humans looking for love. The dog looks for love too, see? His requirements are not quite as complex. You see, pretty simple guy, you know. Just feed me and kind of pat me once in a while and look at me and so on. That's good enough for me. Well, that's not so simple with us, right? Yeah. We're a little more complex because we're evolved, see. We're evolved in complexity of the body, but in complexity of the mind, too. See, more requirements, more conditions. Yeah. In fact, it's so easy to love a dog, much more easy to have a relationship with a dog than a human. That's why a lot of people, after they give up on humans, they just go to the dog, you know, or the cat, you know, so easy. In fact, there's a little test you can do to see who loves you most. Your wife or your husband, either way, whichever way it goes. Your spouse or your dog. Here's the test. Take your wife or husband and take your dog and put them in the trunk of your car and lock the trunk. Leave them there, go away, leave them for 8 hours. Come back in 8 hours, open the trunk, and see which one is the most happy to see you. You don't even have to do the test. You already know the answer. you know. Yeah, so anyway, the point is, every living entity has the same requirement, and that requirement, the essential in life, is love. Without love, really, we don't have. We have life because it's eternal, but we don't have life, you know. There's that saying like, get a life. You know when somebody's hassling you a lot, you know, and you say, hey, man, get a life, you know. What it means is do something that makes you happy, man. Leave me alone. You know, you're just on a bummer. Don't hassle me. Mm-hmm. We're all looking for life, but we're not finding it because we don't have love. Love is the key ingredient. You see? Why is it so elusive? Why is it so necessary? It's actually a part of all of us, but it's completely, you know, like, where is it? I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's because it's not real love that we're dealing with in our illusioned condition in the material world. See? We're in so much illusion. We don't have the understanding of what life really is. When the soul comes into the material world, he comes under the influence of the illusory energy, it's called. Mm-hmm. And it's just that, it's an illusion. I don't see things as they are. It's like the mirage in the desert, you see. There's the illusion of water, but it's not really there. So in the material world, there's the illusion of happiness here and there and there and there, but it's not really there. So just like the thirsty man in the desert, he knows he needs water. He knows my life is dependent on getting water. And so when he sees the mirage, because of this need, he chases the mirage, but there's no water there. So he just winds up completely disappointed and empty and no result. His thirst is still as it was before. Now it's worse because he chased the mirage. He ran and he got more thirsty. See? So, in the same way, we don't have love. We're needing it. We're thirsty for it. We're chasing it. But it's all chasing the mirage, you see. And it doesn't really satisfy us. Mm-hmm. So now let's get to the technical part. Now, we learned from the Vedic teaching that the soul is covered by 8 layers of material energy. Mm-hmm. And we'll start from the grossest matter to the more subtle, more subtle matter, layers. Mm-hmm. The grossest is earth. So earth, water, fire, air, ether. These 5 elements make up the gross physical body. That's what makes up the one we can see. See? Then there's the subtler material elements: mind, intelligence, and false ego. These 3 subtle elements make up the mental body, the psychic body, the astral body. These are all material elements covering us, this tiny spiritual spark. See? Now, if you want to take it the other way, the closest layer to us, the spirit soul, is the false ego. If you studied some of the current yoga philosophies, read some of the esoteric books, watched things on the internet and so on, you probably come to hear, sooner or later, that the ego is a bad thing. And you have to get rid of your ego. Your ego is causing you all kind of problems. I hear people all the time say, oh, I'm working on my ego. I'm trying to get rid of my ego. See, this is part of the illusion. You are the ego. Ego means I. I am. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. I am spirit. See, I am the ego. I can't get rid of myself. I'm eternal. See, ego's not the problem. It's the false ego. The false I. I am the body. I am the mind. I am, and then whatever you put after that. See, all of these false identities are products of the false I. See, it's not who I really am. It's who I am, the illusion that I am. Mm-hmm. So this is a contaminating layer. we'll call it. Now, I, the spirit soul, loving particle that I am eternally, I radiate love. It goes out. Love is a radiant thing. You ever notice that? It's a radiant, warm, attractive quality. When that loving energy of myself radiates out from me, the spirit soul, it goes through the false ego. And on the other side of the false ego, it is now changed. Let's take an example of a light. We have a white light. It's in its pure white form. We pass that light through a red lens. On this side, in its original form, it's white. On this side, is it white? No, it's red. Is it really red? No, it's really white, but because of the contamination of the red lens, to us, it looks red. When love passes through the false ego, it becomes contaminated. And on this side of the false ego, it's not love anymore. It's the perverted reflection of love, which is lust. That's what we have in the world today. It's not love, it's lust. What is the difference between love and lust? Love is pure. What is the characteristic, or what are the qualities of love? Giving, mercy, compassion, caring, warmth, etc. See, all very, very good attractive qualities. That is the nature of love. Love's reward, what the happiness is in love, is seeing the one that you love happy. That's what it is. That makes you happy. Your reward of loving someone is they're happy. It's not about getting anything, it's giving. The whole essence of love is giving and not even expecting something back. What is the characteristic of lust? The opposite. Who is the center of love? The object of love. The person that you're loving. That is the center of the relationship. In lust, who is the center? Me. I'm the center. I am expecting something back. I am loving. I can't help but love because I am. But now it's not love, it's lust. See? So what the fruit is, I want you, whoever, whatever the object is, to make me happy, satisfy me, give me what I want. See? That's why in loving relationships, there's always the famous mantra. What am I getting from you? I love you, you don't love me. I give you everything, you give me nothing. See? Anybody ever heard that? Anybody ever said that? I give you everything, what do you give me? See? And we at least want a 50-50 deal. If it's 70% on my side, 30%, that's all right too. I don't mind that, you know. But if it's 30% on my side and 70%, ooh, I don't like that very much. You see, equal, I got to be that, you see. So that's the game we play in the material world. It's not love, it's lust. Therefore, it causes a lot of problems. In love, I'm not the enjoyer. See, I get enjoyment, but I am not the enjoyer. The object of my love is the enjoyer. In lust, I'm the enjoyer. You are not giving me what I want. I'm not happy in this relationship. I used to love you, but I don't now. What does that mean? You used to give me pleasure, but now you don't. But the other one does now. I found another one. They give me more pleasure than you. So, goodbye. When I was young, growing up, they used to say, oh, he got a Dear John letter. Now it's a Dear John text. They don't even write letters anymore. It's quicker, it's easier, delete it, and it's done. See? Sorry, see you later. So, this is why it's so difficult in the world today to be happy, because you can't be happy without love. See, even if we find someone that we think we love, we give our heart to that person,